Good morning, Rich Tyson here. Today I wanted to chat a little bit about what the fundamental job of a CEO or president of an organization would be. As we look at business in general, there is always the need to make money. And that often is considered to be the sum total of what a CEO or chief executive officer ought to be doing. That ultimately the measure of their success is that they make money. And while I wouldn't argue that that is essential, because every organization, for a for-profit company or a not-for-profit organization, must make money, the fact of the matter is that money, financial outcomes, are a lagging indicator. They are a function of something else. And what is that something? Well, ultimately, what drives financial outcomes is what we do for a customer. Again, that can be a product, it can be a service of some kind, it can be in an organization that is specifically looking to make profits, or a nonprofit organization. And again, even a nonprofit organization has to take into consideration the financial outcomes, but those only occur when we deliver great outcomes to a customer. That, however, while that's a leading indicator for the financial outcomes, that is not an ultimate outcome. What drives customer outcomes? Well, those are the operational outcomes of the organization. If you're building a product, it's how you produce the product. It's how effective you are in creating a great high-quality product, and it's how efficient you are in actually working the process so that you are, in today's terminologies, very lean, very as inexpensive as you can be in the process of creating the product, so that when you price your product at a level that your customer is willing and maybe even excited to pay, that you still have margin in it. So it drives those financial outcomes, but it is a function of delivering to the customer's needs and doing it in a very efficient and effective operating process. That, however, is not the ultimate outcome. Operational outcomes are not the ultimate. They are not the foundational outcome that we need to manage as CEOs. We need to have people. And in fact, people drive operational outcomes in virtually every organization. People have to be very competent at doing the various pieces of an operation. They also need to be highly engaged. And herein lies a couple of problems. First of all, too often, especially in smaller organizations, less policy and procedure driven, we find that competency is supposedly delivered by paying attention to what somebody else did. Now, again, that's a good starting place, but the reality is too often that's training by osmosis. You just watch what I do, and then you will know how to do it. This isn't a good process for building real competency in an operation. And so we need to do much more than that as CEOs to understand that we not only need to define our operating processes and what people do within them, but we also need to train to those processes and to even sometimes test for competency. On the other side of the equation, the engagement issue is huge. Today and for many years, the conference board of top CEOs in the country have indicated that employee engagement is their biggest concern, their biggest issue. Statistically, we find, and you can research this online and in some other places, that there are about 3 people in every organization who are fully engaged. That probably includes you as a CEO. And so those 3 people were heavily reliant on them to drive operational outcomes. About 5 out of 10 are semi-engaged. They're in and out. They're not giving you 100% of their effort, but certainly they're still valued employees. But we need to get their engagement to a higher level. And then the other 2 out of 10 are typically just totally disengaged. Maybe even they are dragging you down or poking holes in your boat. And so that is a really insidious problem. The problem is worse, though, than it sounds at its surface, because if only 3 of your people are really carrying the weight, we run the risk of burning those people out. We need to get everyone engaged in the operation in order to deliver customer outcomes and financial outcomes. Well, even below that, what we have is the need to get the right people on the bus, as Jim Collins said in the book Good to Great. We need to recruit properly. And so it becomes essential that we vet the people that we need to get on the team and that we onboard them carefully. And even sometimes Zappos, a great organization that has said, hey, we will vet you carefully, we'll onboard you carefully, but after a period of 3 weeks or so, if you haven't proven that you fit both to you yourself and to us, then we'll offer you a substantial check to go away. So the issue here is it's far less expensive to let that happen than it is to bring on the wrong person. So recruitment of the right people drives ultimately competency and engagement outcomes, which drive operational outcomes, which drive customer outcomes, which drive financial outcomes. And then overarching all of this as a CEO, there must be a great vision, the why. Simon Sinek talks about this, that it's so important that we know our purpose, our why. Why are we in business? All of the financial outcomes, right all the way down to the recruitment at the base of all of this, must resonate within an overall vision. And a CEO must be the visionary. Certainly they want to expand and share that vision. Customers should have a general understanding of it, and your people within your organization really need to understand it. And so it's really critical that a clear, stated, concise vision for an organization is part of what a CEO does. So let's review for a minute. Again, what is the job description of a CEO? It is certainly to make money by delivering great customer outcomes, which is a function of delivering great operational outcomes, which is a function of building competency and engagement with your team, which is a function of great recruitment. This, by the way, is built largely on the balanced scorecard, which was a concept created by a couple of professors at the Harvard Business School, Kaplan and Norton. And I want to give credit to them. I have amended this somewhat. The reason I'm so firm on this great model, however, is that CEOs are often distracted. They can often have days where we just feel like we've worked so hard to get things done, and then at the end of the day, it's, well, did I really accomplish something? If you look at this fundamental construct, again, of a great vision, how we make money, how we deliver to the customer, how we deliver operating outcomes, how we deliver competency and engagement with our people and recruit right, this is really kind of an iron rod for CEOs to hang on to. As you look at the busyness of your life, if you're doing consistent work in all of these key elements, you will be successful as a CEO. Not that it's easy, it is lonely at the top. It's even lonelier if you're one of 3 that are engaged. So I recommend to you highly to think about these fundamental pieces as your job description as a CEO. And thank you for your time today.